Now, do you take part of that Western genre? Do you take part of that with you in your private life? I thought I read that you enjoy horse riding and the ranch
Yeah,
scene.
yeah, I love it. I'm a big fan of anything like that because it keeps you real centered. You get out on a horse and you go out. You're not encumbered with your phone or anything like that. You're really present in the moment, and you got to pay attention when you're on a horse because any moment you could be on your ass.
Sure.
And so it's nice to have that. It's nice to have that attention and freedom at the same time. And when you want to get up and go on a horse, I did all my own stunts on this movie, and I did plenty from the horse. That you know, you can't help but love it. I don't know. There's just something about it. So yeah, the Western heritage didn't stop. Before me, I'll carry it on and through. And my kids love horses, and they're actually out at their mother-in-law's farm in Michigan right now riding their horses. So
That's
it's cool. I love it.
just extremely liberating.
Yeah, and I got to be honest with you. There's a macho feel to it. There's a maybe it is the JW idea. Where you get off that horse and you kind of feel, like you're filling some boots and stuff like that. Maybe that's what it is, but there is definitely you feel 10 feet tall or bulletproof. Once we're done, I'm going out to the ranch and I'll be riding tonight, probably first thing tomorrow morning. So I'm going to do a couple cattle drives in the next 2 months. So that's going to be fun. And yes, they still do cattle drives.
Wow. All right. That's not just from City Slickers. Then it's the real deal, huh?
No, it's the real deal.
Oh, good for you. All right. Now back to your line of work. You've done TV shows like CSI and Cold Case. What is the difference between working in television and film that you've experienced?
Um, Television, especially when you're not the lead, you tend to be filling a very specific role that has to be done in a very specific way. So your approach has to simplify in a lot of ways. You're not going to improv a lot of things, especially on those types of shows, because it's more about the procedure and the drive to the end and how you get there than it is about, say, a specific character type. So you're not going to be running around with a lot of improv like John Favreau was a big fan of. Hey, if you don't like this line or the way this is said, give me something, give me the essence, and we'll see if it works. You're not getting that on TV. In TV, you've got 10 to 12 days to film an episode, and you got to get it done in that time period. And so you're working
Okay.
as a guest star, let's say 5-6 days. You're tightened up and in that thing, and you got to fill that role pretty much the way you left it in the room. So
Okay.
yeah, it's different in that it's much more structured.
All right. All right. Now you have a history of acting in your family. What kind of instruction did you get from them, and did you feel there were any shoes to fill or a torch to carry on?
Um, Answer the first question, I guess, which is, did I get any advice? I didn't necessarily. My Uncle Patrick was pretty good about. He used to come when I went to American Academy to my plays, and he was very honest. He said, "You need to be more present," or whatever it was that needed to be done. Um, that was nice, but there weren't like, "Hey, use this technique or that technique." It was more of what we say, a critique afterwards of these are the things I saw or I missed. And I didn't start till later on in life. I didn't start this whole acting. I didn't approach it even until I was about 27. So I wasn't all time. I always wanted to be in it. I was a guy who thought he was going to play in the NBA at some point. That was short lived, but I was sports oriented. So the second question was, do I feel like I have some shoes to fill? I don't. I was raised really well by my mom. She said, "Hey, look, son, you know who John Wayne is?" I said, "Yeah, it's granddad." She goes, "Yeah, but do you know who John Wayne is?" I said, "Yeah, the actor, the whole thing." Like, that's his. That's him. You're you. You're not that. You're Brendan. You're John, the Duke, that whole thing. and what it's eventually going to become, because she was very smart. She said what it eventually is going to become, it's going to become even more than he ever was when he was locked. The legend will definitely outpace whatever's going on. And don't get me wrong, what he was great. And I was like, okay. As I've gotten older, I realized, that's a really easy thing for me to approach that way, because then it's just two separate things. Granddaddy was one thing, John Wayne is a whole different beast. And I can't fulfill that need because luckily or unlucky, depending on who you are, I don't look like him, and I don't necessarily carry the physical characteristics. He had blue eyes, I have brown. He was 6'5", I'm 6 foot. He was 250, I'm 175 if I have a jacket on. I know I'm different, and I know that my personality that exposes itself more often than not is different than the one that he carried out more often than not in film. And so it's easy for me to keep those things separate. Now, that's not to say that I'm not willing to ride his coattails, because obviously I am. And it took me a long time to get to that point, but my dad kind of put it together. He said, if you're a Rockefeller and you wanted, to do oil, I'd tell you, God damn it, use the name. And it's like no different than steel or anything else. Just if that's the family name, then you have to embrace it. You can't shy away from it necessarily, because it'll do you no good in the long run. And just accept it. It is what it is. You be proud. And that was the big key. When he said be proud, I was like, wait, I am proud. So yeah, I'm okay with it. I don't feel like I gotta fill his shoes when I'm doing stunts. Now that's different. When I did this movie doing the stunts, because the stunt guys, either their parents or their grandparents knew my granddad and worked with him, because it's a very tight knit kind of family to family to family thing going down. And once you're around those guys who knew your granddad and knew what kind of stunts he did, and the physical side of my grandfather, that's when I get a little like, all right, I got to fulfill something here. I have a responsibility to be a good person and all that stuff, and also to push to the limit physically, because he was willing to, and I take pride in that. And I was able to on this movie. I pushed it well beyond the limit, and I had a great time doing it. And those stunt guys took care of me and respected me because I was willing to do it. And that means a lot.
Yeah, I think what you mentioned, what your mom had told you about, you got to be your own person. That's probably some of the most valuable advice anybody could give, regardless of occupation. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah. Especially you follow success. I see it. You're following success and you're doing the same thing that your family's done. That I think is really absolutely it's a no-brainer. But then even if you're not, I have 3 kids, and I tell my oldest, who's 12, I said, look, you don't have to be me. I could never be you. I don't have the ability. You are so an individual. And it's the same thing my mom said to me, and that has really actually helped me build confidence, because I don't, in acting, look for approval. That's not where I gain my confidence or my ego or anything like that. I gain all that from my family and my friends. They give me enough support and approval that I can just go out and do my work and enjoy it. So I don't have to put anything else on it. And that all comes from my mom saying, hey, you can only be you. You could never be him, and he could never be you. And when you say, hey, John Wayne could never be you, that's pretty cool.
Sure. Absolutely. All right. Okay, Brendan. Well, hey, I appreciate your time. It was a great time talking to you. So we can expect Legends of Hell's Gate, An American's Conspiracy, sometime in September. And then Cowboys and Aliens comes out June 29th, correct? Or July 29th?
Absolutely. July 29th.
All right.